Hi, this is Ron Turner of FrontRunner 2020. Thank you for joining episode 3 of our series.
Well, thank you again for the opportunity, and thanks for the chance to talk about fundraising. I enjoy fundraising a great deal. It's been a key part of my practice over the last few years in politics, quite a number of years actually. It is less and less what I'm doing as a day-to-day pursuit. I've turned more and more to doing the data analytics of fundraising, as fundraising has turned more and more to an opportunity to do lots of data crunching. That's where I've turned my practice. So it's it's a simple thing to do. All you need is a folding table and a phone and some lists, and you just call people and ask them for money. There's all kinds of flourishes you can attach to that, and one of the fun parts about fundraising is the opportunity to experiment and try things. I encourage you all to think about ways that you can add to it, but don't lose sight of the fact that all of those possibilities are flourishes. Build a fundraising program at its core around call time, because that creates the opportunity for donors to have that direct personal relationship with a candidate. And once that's built, it's a serious investment, and it's something that can be relied upon throughout a political career. So it's important to get started early and really focus on building those relationships. And it also helps to make you a better candidate in general. Practicing saying on a regular basis who you are and why you're running. In a moment where you're one-on-one with a person, it's fairly high stakes when you get down to it. It makes you a better candidate. And it's a challenge that when you rise to it, it's a good thing.
Well, thanks, Scott. And you reminded me of something at one client where you and I were collaborating on some fundraising work. It reminds me of someone who had had a long career, and it kind of warmed my heart to know the relationships that were built. So there were fundraising calls being made, but you could tell that people respected this candidate, they liked this candidate, and it was a list that he had built over the years of a political career. And this is what I hear you saying, is that we're kind of encouraging people to do that at the early stages of a career and throughout every campaign.
Yeah. I mean, early, taking the time to call people down to $125, $50, $25 and asking for those contributions shows how important that is to you. And while you might want to take shortcuts and just send out email blasts or direct mail letters or send out invites to fundraisers or hope that bundlers can bring it all in for you, the fact of the matter is that when those work for candidates, because the candidates already previously put in the time to build the personal relationships and the credibility, so that in later campaigns or later efforts, those donors or those supporters, those bundlers, those direct mail pieces, those emails can all tap people who have previously given, who have previous relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to start with those, one-on-one relationship building, showing people that you care and that they matter.
Good. Okay, that's awesome. Well, let's wrap it up here, and let me put up my contact information on the slide as we close out the program. Frontrunner2020.com is our website, where we will have show notes and transcripts coming up soon, and that's where the registration for future webinars can also be found. Facebook page also has events and links to registration. FrontRunner 2020 is the name of that page. The YouTube channel is FrontRunner 2020 TV. Our first 2 episodes are there. Twitter at FrontRunner 2020. And just as of today, we have been approved in the iTunes listings, so you can find the podcast there. So please tell everybody about us and spread the word. We really do believe in our mission to help candidates and pre-candidates along in their journey. And now we come to the time of the program where we check in with Dave Bottom. He's the Deputy Campaign Manager at Ellen Cohen for Houston City Council. Dave helps us connect each week's material with the activities of a real campaign. Dave, what's going on in Houston this week?
Well, we just got off our reporting deadline. July 15th was the date they had to be submitted by, and it gave us a really clear idea of where all the different campaigns stood. And in the city race, where it's nonpartisan, this is huge because you have so many people in one particular race. Our race has 5 people, and there's an at-large position that I believe has over 10 at this point. So we're very excited to have a strong lead, and we are about to embark on our block walking in that Houston heat. So we're really excited about that.
Wow, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so you get a little intelligence on what the competition is up to, and good to know that you guys are doing well. I'm happy to hear about that. Not so sure how I feel about block walking in August in Houston. I hope you're giving those volunteers a lot of water.
Oh, I upped the Ozarka order, excuse me, for next week, so you better
Okay.
believe it.
Okay, good, good. Well, to the point of this week's presentation, Scott emphasized the importance of being organized. He recommended that everyone collect their contacts, friends, family, and professional, and manage fundraising from one database. Can you tell us how that works at the Ellen Cohen campaign?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, fundraising is almost one of the things you want to be the most organized in your campaign. You typically associate organization with having all the volunteers come in, sending out your mail, sending it out at the right time, but none of that matters if you don't have any money to fund it. And as a campaign staff person such as myself, we really push Ellen because it's really easy for her sometimes to just put off a call. She doesn't want to make it. She doesn't want to bother that person. Now, don't get me wrong. She's probably one of the best fundraisers in Houston, but it's so easy to let everything slide. In our campaign, we had a lot of luck getting money in early. This is really important, especially before that first reporting deadline, but it also allows you to focus on the people that you have trouble getting to. And Scott alluded to this. When you get that money in, it's not just game over for that one particular donor. You might go back to them, and you probably should go back to them later on in the campaign. So we follow a very strict schedule. We send out our initial volley. We try to get out as much money in as possible. And we do this, we did that originally through an email. Then Ellen followed up with phone calls. Now we prioritized our targets using software called NGP. And that allowed us to prioritize our targets by the amount of donations from people in the past. They had a consistent history of giving over $1,000 every time Ellen has run in the past. Then obviously that's a prime target for the picking. So we started off with an email announcing that Ellen was running. Then we started going systematically after our heaviest donors. And then it's just about getting the word out that Ellen's running. We did that through our social media, our email, Ellen going to civic clubs, and then we hit the reporting deadline. And this is a great opportunity for you to get out the message that you need money. It's going to be something that everyone looks at, your opponents look at, and political action groups. And this means that they're going to be more or less willing to join in your campaign, whether to throw you volunteers or money. So now that we're done with that, we're going to start following in a new phase of going after donors once again that haven't given money and so forth.
Dave, let me ask a question about that, because you're right. I get emails from candidates emphasizing those deadlines and those reporting requirements. So is that effective then? Does that motivate people? Do you guys get a good response to those emails?
You wouldn't believe how much money we raised. We raised $10,000 in 72 hours.
Wow.
And it's pretty much unheard of how much Ellen reported in the Houston City Council race. Just no one does that. It's all about how you do it. we had been generating a buzz from day one of our campaign. We hadn't been throwing out too many emails so that people weren't overloaded with information or they were simply ignoring our emails. We made it very simple. We wanted to tell them about all the wonderful things Ellen had been doing, and I wanted to recruit volunteers in that email, but we didn't. We simply said, 72 hours, we need a strong deadline, can you contribute? We didn't muddle the message.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that, because I think everyone listening has seen those kinds of emails. It's good to know that they really are effective. I guess it's obvious if people do them, they must work. Let me go back to something else you talked about, though, is that having the historical records of past donors and going back to them. One of the things that we encourage all front runners to think about is this idea of a lifelong journey, maintaining your relationships, maintaining a list. And this is interesting to me because I hear you saying that Ellen is going to people where she's built relationships in the past and they're helping her now running for a different office. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you should never be afraid to ask someone for money as a politician. You need it to run a campaign, you need it to operate, and it's expected. The worst they can do is say no. Sometimes they might get a little upset, but at the end of the day, they're just going to say no. You obviously want to be sensitive. If there's a family issue, if there's health issues, don't call them. Wait a little while. But like Scott said in his presentation, systematically go after everyone and make sure you say thank you at the end. And then be a good candidate. Be the person that you told them you were going to be. Like Scott said, your message as to why you are running is crucial. And they will expect you to do that. They want a return on their investment. And as long as you do that, those people are the ones you go back to every single time, no matter if you're running for re-election in that seat or you are taking a step in a new direction.
Thanks, Dave. As always, you've helped to make that connection between the topic that we're talking about and how it works in a real campaign. Are there any closing comments that you'd like to make?
One thing to always remember is that dialing for dollars is not an easy task. And whether you are a consultant, staff member, or the candidate themselves, you need to be aware of that. So if you're a candidate, have someone help you. Have them keep you accountable. It's so easy, like Ron said, to go to your desk. It's going to be perfectly laid out. All your call sheets are in front of you. Your cell phone is fully charged. Your pencils are sharpened. But to make that call, sometimes you just need a little push. And it's never easy. Ellen has to make these calls all the time. And the fact that these people have given to her consistently is great. But sometimes it does wear on you a little. You don't want to keep asking them for money, but they give it. They are committed to you. And these people are committed to you. If someone gives you money, it's because they want to. So always just have someone to help you out if you need it, whether it be a professional fundraiser, staff member, a friend, whatever.
Good advice, Dave. Let's wrap it up there, and let me thank you. I will direct everyone to your contact information. Dave welcomes emails at his personal email. He's been generous enough to share that with us. It's david.bonham@gmail.com. Let me spell that. david.bonem@gmail.com. Thanks, Dave. Have a great week.
Thanks, Ron. Everyone take care.